Chapter 12. There's a lot of action in these next two chapters. I don't ask you very many questions about them because I want you to enjoy the action. This is getting pretty good. So pay attention to what happens. There's some shifts in the characters and we learn some new things about them. So watch for that. Chapter 12. Another week threatened to pass, much like the one before, with no news from San Clemente, where Papa had gone. "What's taking Papa so long?" demanded Max. He led Dulce and the wagon filled with wood down the hill to the new bridge site. Buelo sat on the wagon's tailgate, hitching a ride to the Saturday market. Lola, the dog, trotted along behind. "Patience," said Buelo. "We knew it would take some time. The tryouts are still almost 3 weeks away." Max kicked at the dirt. His summer was nothing he'd hoped for. Just before they got to the village, Buelo climbed down and patted his shoulder. "Are you sure you can unload the wood all by yourself and get Dulce home?" "Buelo, I already said I'd lift one board at a time," said Max, "and even Lola could lead stubborn Dulce back home." Buelo patted Dulce's neck. "Max doesn't mean it, sweet girl, and he's just bad-tempered of late. I know you're as reliable as the sun." Max rolled his eyes. "After the market, I'll have lunch with Mariana. Don't worry about picking me up. I'll get a ride or walk home," said Buelo. Max nudged the burro forward without even waving goodbye. At the bridge site, Max cleared a level place for the wood and put down a tarp. Lola promptly claimed a corner. "Don't get too comfortable," said Max as he carried the lengths from the wagon to the tarp. When he needed more room, he ordered, "Off, Lola!" She skulked away. What was wrong with him? How could he yell at such an innocent animal? "Come here, Lola, I'm sorry." As he petted her muzzle, something sailed overhead and splashed in the river in front of him. Max spun around. "Relax, Max, it's just us." Ortiz and Guille ran past them to the river's edge, lobbing rocks into the water. Chuy was right behind them. He stopped to pet Lola. "We saw your Buelo in the village. He said you were here. We're going to the waterhole. Want to come with us?" "I can't," said Max. "I have work to do." Chuy shifted uncomfortably from one foot to the other. "What's wrong?" said Max. "Ortiz said if I didn't tell you, he would." "Tell me what?" Chuy lowered his voice. "Last night, Guillermo and I went to Ortiz's for dinner. All his mother talked about was the tryouts, and how Ortiz is the best goalie, and how the league is finally enforcing who can play and who can't. And then she started talking about your family. She said they're all criminals and should be reported, and that if the league finds out about their past, someone will have to say something about you playing on the team." The blood drained from Max's face. Did Ortiz's mother know that Papa and Buelo had been guardians? And his aunts and uncles too? Was she one of the people who made pointed comments? "What did you say?" said Max. Chuy looked helpless. Nothing. I didn't know what they were talking about." Ortiz and Guillermo walked towards them, shoving each other and laughing. Max stepped forward. "Ortiz, your mother should mind her own business. She doesn't know anything about my family." "Didn't mean to upset you or throw you off your game," said Ortiz. "Just doing you a favor. I'd want to know if my family was full of criminals." Fury rose up in Max. "They're heroes, but your mother, she's a gossip and a liar." Ortiz lunged at Max and shoved him to the ground. Max jumped up swinging. Ortiz blocked Max's punches and knocked him down again. Lola bared her teeth and growled at Ortiz. "Sit, Lola," called Max. This was his fight. Max stood and set his fists, expecting Ortiz to come after him. Instead, he walked away. "Come on, Guille. Chuy, let's go." Max watched him go, Ortiz's words thrumming in his ears. He felt Chuy tug on his arm, and he spun around yelling, "You've known our family your entire life. How could you not defend us? No matter what, I thought you were my friend." Chuy looked as if someone had slapped him. "I am." Max shook his head in disbelief. "No, you're like a little stray dog following at Ortiz's heels just because he invited you to the football clinic and got you new shoes and he buys you leche quemada and brings you to dinner at his big house." Chewy's face fell. Max turned back to the wagon and started unloading the wood. As he grabbed the last plank, he paused, feeling unsteady. Could Papa or Buelo go to jail for being guardians so many years ago? A dark qualm slithered from a hole in his mind. It leered and taunted him. Then the ugly doubt slipped back into its hiding place. Max's hands trembled. The wood slid out of his hands and thudded to the ground, leaving a long, thick splinter in the pad of his thumb. He gasped at the sharp pain. Chewy rushed to his side. "Leave me alone." After Chewy walked away, Max gritted his teeth and pulled out the long sliver of wood. Blood puddled in his palm. He wrapped his hand in a rag and tugged Dulce to the cottage as fast as she could go with the wagon. "Words could never hurt you. That's what everyone always said. Sticks and stones, yes, but not words." They were wrong.